Hello and welcome to another episode of Flavorcity Breakers of Chains. I am Ben, your Dungeon Master for this adventure. We are going to run around and introduce our players real quick. We will start over with Andrea.
Hello, everybody. I'm Andrea. I am playing Bulford Angus Cattleman, and I am your Minotaur Monk.
Awesome. Then we'll go down to Gingy.
Hi, I'm Gingy. I'm playing Charles Lamont Ribbon, and I'm playing a Turbo the Land Druid, Triton. Yes, that's it.
Fantastic. And finally, we'll go down over to Charlie.
Hey y'all, I'm Charlie, and I play Melis Orpington the Get, who is a half-elf ranger.
Fantastic. So, last time we left off, our party had been summoned to the city to collect these different artifacts from the different districts of the city and to hopefully help restore some sort of balance to the city as it had been thrown out when the sorcerer who leads the city, Guy Fiery, was disappeared. Yes, he was disappeared. He disappeared, and a series of chains, large chain restaurants, came in and started to sort of bleed the city for all of the life that it has in it. The party has successfully collected all of the different artifacts from the different districts of the city, have gone ahead, followed a new blip on their menu map, and found themselves currently actively riding in a bright red Camaro, crashing through a rolling garage door, and pedaled to the metal, I think was the actual... I think you just wanted your foot to hit the floor.
Yeah.
Just peeling down the street, headed back towards the center of the city, towards the Temple of Flavor that is set up there. So we come back to it with you guys having just blown up through the rolling door on this parking garage type area. Charles behind the wheel, Bulford and Melis holding on for dear life in the car as you just careen through and turn towards the temple, where there is the large ravine chasm kind of thing that rings around the outside of it. To confirm, there is no bridge across it. And are currently headed that direction. As you guys look up and around it, you can see that there are a large number of the now familiar to you floating basketball-sized drones that are sort of stopping, turning, and looking and coming down in your direction as you go just flying by at an accelerating probably 50 or 60 miles an hour at this point. Just full bore towards the center of the city. What do you guys want to be doing right now?
Yeah. Is anyone in the city that we're passing reacting to us in our car?
Go ahead and make a perception check.
Charles, do you know how to drive? It's a little late for that question, but...
I feel like we said no last time, but I don't remember. That's an 8 for perception.
An 8. But as you are tearing down this street, you catch glimpses of faces in windows on either side, but just they pass in a blur as you guys are, again, accelerating towards the center of the city.
Cool. Okay.
So you can't catch reactions, but you do catch that there are people intrigued by the sound of this loud engine gunning its way down this central thoroughfare.
So, what's the plan when we reach the ravine? Are we just gonna gun it over?
You know, I think if we get it with enough force, like, I don't think
Well, that's what I was
work.
thinking, but like we're gonna have to pick up a little bit more speed.
Yeah.
Is this a stick shift?
I got it.
Do I have any insight into whether that would work? Like,
make a... There's no math skill, so make an intelligence check.
okay. Flat roll. Natural 1.
No.
Hey, you know...
That seems about right.
Yep. Geometry was never your strong suit, so... You know?
It's okay. It was mine, and it never got me anywhere in life.
Whoops. You do know that you have seen it, particularly with like your chickens, if they've been, clipped up so they can't really fly. If they get a running start, they
Mhm.
do make it a little ways before they hit the ground again.
Sure, yeah. They do have wings, so I think I'm gonna start thinking if there's any way to, as Charles is driving, to affix like some kind of wing, like gliding mechanism to
Is
the
there
car.
like a ramp? You
Yeah.
see one of them? I feel like we need to go up.
Does anyone have
Mhm.
a kite on them?
No.
All right. That's all right. I'll make my own.
Let me check my bag real fast.
All right. Did maybe the missus sent you with one?
Mississippi with a lot of stuff. I
Can
don't
we
think a kite's one of them.
can we see like a I don't know if there's a ramp or not. Can we see where eventually the road ends from where we currently are, or is it still a bit away?
It's a bit away, but you guys can see that you have, with the way that the city is set up, you're on one of sort of the main spokes that heads out from the center. So you have situated yourself in such a way that you can see out on the horizon the relatively large structure of the temple at the end of this road. So you guys are going in a straight line, essentially.
Okay.
Okay.
I feel like this is way out of his zone, but is there any way Charles can figure out the speed at which he needs to go to make this jump?
Go ahead and make an intelligence check, Charles.
That is a 6.
Well, you see, Charles, there's this little red section on the speedometer. You figure, red means fast. So
We'll just keep trying to go faster then.
Can Bulford use his dad powers to try and think up a weird MacGyver type situation to help out?
Probably. Let's see.
Bulford and the power of dad.
Yeah. Sure.
Is it going to be a flat intelligence check?
Probably. We're gonna go with yes.
Here we go. Oh! 19.
19.
Yeah.
All
The
right.
power of dad compels us.
The power of dad does compels you. As Bulford, you're sitting there, you're thinking, you start pulling out all of your like slightly ripped flannels now because you're like, she said kite, we got to get something going here.
Yep.
You actually like are sitting there thinking, and you're like, well, we need a set of wings to get this to actually work because this is, from what you remember, it was a straight line and they just cut a hole in the middle of the straight line. So you're like, fuck. And then you realize that there's like this faint little like sparkly energy almost coming off of the car as you guys are going here.
Uh-huh.
And you remember that there was a winged unicorn, an alicorn, if you will, that came out of this car when you were down in the what is that called? Parking garage.
Yeah.
And left you guys a little note.
Uh-huh.
Does anybody remember what that
What did
note
that
said?
note say? Anyone? I don't remember.
Call if needed.
Or
Pretty
Something
much,
along
yeah.
those
yeah.
lines.
Yep, pretty much. And so you're not entirely sure how to use that, but you're pretty sure that whatever you're about to try and MacGyver is not really going to make it over the ravine.
I'm gonna tap on the side of the car and say, "Excuse me, friend, we could use some wings to get over that gap in the road up there. Could you help us?"
The car doesn't respond to you in that it doesn't talk back to you. It just keeps, as Charles is going forward as fast as he possibly can. I'll say make an animal handling check.
Oh, hell yeah.
Why not?
Natural 20, so that's
Hey.
26.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys are like, you are leaving this literal cloud of these drones flying behind you. Every time one of them starts to come down towards you, you shoot underneath it as you have gone from about 50 to somewhere in the like 90s at this point, and you are accelerating towards the chasm. And Melis, you are starting to talk to the car and patting the outside of it. Just giving it a little bit of love.
I try some scritches to see if it likes that better.
Yeah. Charles, you are like white knuckled on the wheel. You have driven one of the fan boats before out in the swamp, but that's about it. And you don't have a big old wheel for that, so you're just like clutched on, eyes locked forward. Bulford, you are panicking a little bit now because your friends are not responding and talking to the car. And looking behind you, there is this big cloud of things that will not take kindly to you guys chasing you. Charles, as you sort of start to snap back into it with the ravine coming up to you, suddenly the wheels leave the pavement and you guys are falling a little bit. And there is a couple of seconds of just like down into the ravine before this huge pair of like red spectral wings coming from looking almost like bits of like fire that you would paint on the side of a car, just whoosh, and give two good heavy flaps, and you guys are tossed back up into the air and slam down onto the other side of the ravine. Now on the side with the temple, tires immediately just like screaming as you are suddenly, Charles, very close to a building, and you switch from gas to brakes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
All of you guys make dexterity saves for me. Why not?
Oh,
Come on.
it's a
Natural
10.
20 plus 6.
7.
Okay. Bulford, you catch yourself on the backs of the seats in front of you because you jumped in the back where it magically extended for you.
I had leg room.
Yep. The other two of you guys, as Charles slams on the brakes and starts to pull off to one side, are tossed out of the car.
Oh no.
Can I try to like do something about that? Hold up.
I'll say
We're going mighty fast.
I'll say you can make a athletics check and pick one of them to try and catch.
Can I try and, as a reaction going off, hit the parking brake just as, like, as I'm
Sure.
flying at the front window?
I was gonna say y'all need to pick odds or even, and I'm going with that.
Okay.
All right, who's odds? Who's even?
I'll take the hit. You can go ahead and try grab her. I'll just I'm at full health. I probably should be fine.
Are you sure? I'm also at full health.
So you guys just finished a long rest.
Everyone should be at full health.
Yeah,
but, like,
I really hope so.
We're also going at like 90 plus miles an hour.
Oh, okay.
Can I
so
take can I take a bonus
That's it.
action?
This would be more of a reaction, but what do you want to try and do?
I have riding tide that lets me fly or hover.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So what you got, Bulford?
As far as you said, athletics.
Yeah.
I have a 19.
19. Okay, so as
Whoever looks like they're struggling the most, I'll snatch them.
as Charles turned to the left, so towards him, Melis gets tossed immediately, and Charles gives himself a second by reaching down, grabbing the parking brake, and yanking up on it before he's tossed too. And you reach out and you grab him by the back of the collar, and so Charles, there's just a sudden, and you'll take 4 points of bludgeoning damage as you slam a dent into the side of the car, and you guys look over to see what you can only expect to be Melis, like tumbled 15 feet away from you, and instead she is laying flat on her back on a small floating cloud of chickens.
Holy hell! I've never done that before. That was wild.
That holy, that is not for me. I don't think cars are for me. I like my feet on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, don't worry, a seatbelt.
What's a seatbelt?
How fucking I know. Is Guy Fieri the type of guy, or sorry, Guy Fieri, the type of guy that would have seatbelts in his custom car?
Yeah, he doesn't have a death wish.
Mm.
When you live as wild as you do, you know, you gotta.
Well, yeah.
Mhm.
So you guys sort of collect yourselves after a second here and take a look around. Everybody go ahead and make perception checks.
Okay, fucking finally.
I've not been rolling well today.
I rolled a
What do we got?
7 on the dice for the last two things, so I'm glad to get something else.
15.
15?
8.
8?
21.
21?
21.
So all of you notice that there is obviously this cloud of drones. They do not have a similar issue to what you guys had in the whole needing to stay on the ground thing. So they are still coming towards you. They're a little ways back at this point. The actual like swarm of them, because you guys were moving at like 95 miles an hour. However, there are some above you guys, as there were a bunch of them sort of flying around the top of the temple that are starting to make their way down towards you. They were a couple hundred feet up, so it'll take a little bit to get to you, but they are, in fact, coming down towards you. And then Bulford and Charles, you guys taking stock of everything, you do see, once again, that the temple that had been painted in like all of these vibrant colors to sort of mimic almost like a street art style kind of thing, have been like plated over. Now that you're close enough to actually see it, like large metal plates just sort of covering random parts of it in this weird sort of like shell that's been built around it. And the door to the temple is actually cracked open just a little bit.
I probably didn't go inside, right?
Also, somehow the car is still running.
Oh,
I'm gonna hop up with my little cloud of
Gotta save
spectral
gas.
chickens,
All
walk
right.
over to the car, and I'm just gonna give it some pats.
Okay. Go
Thank
ahead
you
and-
so much. That was real helpful.
It is now off, so it just sort of sits there. But there is a Charles-sized dent in the area that you are patting, and as you pat it, it just sort of like and pops itself back out.
Oh, thank God. I don't know how to fix a car. I can fix a lot of things. I don't know about cars.
I know. I'm just imagining it was full on like a Looney Tunes like runs into a door type.
You kind of, yeah. Just boom.
Ugh. All right, up to the temple. I don't want to deal with all them drones, and I'll just point
Yeah.
backwards. The growing cloud.
Yeah. Onward, I guess.
All right, so you guys want to head up and
That
into
makes
the...
me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. So you guys go ahead and you make your way up the steps of the temple, moving pretty quick because you want to keep as much space between you and the drones as possible. But they are... Actually, you guys can keep pace with them. So they're not gaining on you necessarily as you run up to the front of the temple, but they are ever growing, and the ones above you are bearing down a little bit more than you would prefer, because I feel like you prefer none. But as you make your way up to the door, you can see that this one has been. It looks almost like you can see faint, almost scrawling and paint that has been sort of like splash painted over and burned off. In a weird way, there's a collection, or there's a mix of scorch marks and paint that looks like it's been just like tossed up on top of it to cover what was up, or whatever was up there. And as you guys go ahead and pop open the door a little bit more than the crack it's open and slide your way in to the actual temple, you are immediately confronted with this giant open room. It looks like this takes up the majority of this ground level that you guys are at. And inside of it, there is smashed furniture, smashed and thrown aside books, not necessarily pews, but like tables and chairs and like long benches and stuff like that that have been just reduced to piles of shrapnel or thrown out, flipped over in weird sort of orientations. This room is about 80 feet by 80 feet in a large square here. You know from looking at the outside of the temple that it is bigger than that, but this is the majority of it. And then can I get everybody to make a perception check again for me? It is also dark in here. Important to mention that.
Is this like whenever Guy Fieri's or Guy Fieri's son came in and saw people selling stuff in the temple and he kicked them all out and beat their asses, or is that Jesus? I get those two mixed up occasionally.
I don't remember him doing that.
Wow. All right.
24.
24.
23.
25.
25. You guys are all way up there. In this area, amidst all of the sort of like cracked, broken stuff, in the darkness, you can see about 40 feet away from you, there is a small, like stepped up area that leads to a raised dais sitting in the center of what this actual like temple space is. And right in front of, you can see the edges of the altar sitting in the center of this, but you can only see the edges of it because right in front of it there is this piecemeal like metal plate amalgamation of this large almost chair throne that has been built in the center of it. As you guys sort of look and take in what you're actually seeing, with everybody being over 20, you can see just the faint outline of a figure sitting sort of like slouched down in this throne, sort of just like head hanging, staring ahead. You can't really make out features from this far away in this light, but you can see that there is somebody sitting there. And I would say probably Melis, you would be the one most likely to have come here with either Great Pa or Grandpa, and you would know that this like throne thing wasn't here. Like it was not here before. Really, all of you guys would know that the temple was built in lieu of a like castle or manor kind of thing, because it doesn't really fit with what the sorcerer decided that he wanted to lead the city, like the vision he had for the city. So they decided to build the temple instead. So there was never supposed to be a throne here. That was never like a thing that he wanted. So this is out of place for sure. And you guys could all pretty well deduce that everything else you've seen that's been made of like chunks of metal stuck together has been a result of the chains coming in. Mm-hmm. So this seems to be a recent addition. As you guys,
how far away is the throne?
It's about 40 feet away from where you're at now.
Okay.
Sort of right in the center of this 80 by 80 room. Wolfer doesn't, I don't think.
I can cast bonfire out right next to it, make it easier to see.
That's up to you.
Okay, I'll cantrip create bonfire to the side of the throne to get a better look at this person.
Okay. So you go ahead and you cast create bonfire. Yeah, range is 60 feet. Off to the side, you said?
Not enough to hit them at this point.
Okay. So you go ahead and you cast create bonfire about 5 feet to the left of where the throne is. And you see, as the firelight sort of picks up and lights up the area around it a little bit, you see this sort of like thin, lanky individual that's sitting on this throne. It is dressed in a stark, all-white, three-piece suit, a black, like neat bow tie at his throat, white face, like pure sheet white, with two black orbs of eyes sitting in the center of their head. This long, exaggerated red smile that creeps up the sides of its mouth, with these high, red arching eyebrows. This like mane of hair that sort of erupts and sweeps back off of the top of its head, with a single streak of blue going back on each side. A pair of yellow horns you can see just sort of creeping out of the top of this mane of hair. And it sits in this throne, sort of wreathed in this dark fur-lined cloak of like this red and brown that hangs around its shoulders. And as the fire comes up, it goes ahead, and you hear a voice come from it. The mouth doesn't move in this moment, but you hear a voice sort of ring out across the area to you and says, I've been waiting for you.
Hello?
Pardon, I don't think we got your name, so I don't know how you could be waiting for us. So I'm Bulford. You are?
I am the rightful ruler of this city.
I doubt
I
that.
I have seen your exploits from here. I've seen you dispatch wave after wave of my creations, and frankly, it's become irritating, to say the least.
All right, that's not a name, but that's what my question was. Your name was. Do I need to make the question simpler for you?
No.
I feel like if you're the rightful ruler of this city, we would have heard of you.
Yeah,
Slash, you would have
had
a
a-
name.
yeah.
You would
Yeah,
think that, wouldn't you?
Well,
My name instead has been lost. I've been exiled from the city time and time again as I have attempted to make my way in. Always told that I just couldn't cut it in this city.
Well,
I feel like that's not a good sign that you're the rightful ruler.
maybe you'll be better at other stuff.
Yeah.
I
Everyone's got a
deserve to be here.
Well,
Have
no,
you
that's
tried-
not something your mama should have taught you better.
Yeah.
No one
Have you
deserves
tried,
nothing.
like,
You gotta earn it.
living out in the country? Maybe city life just isn't for you. Maybe you need like a nice patch of land and a little farm. Have you tried that?
I can't say that I have.
I think
Such
you-
work is
I think
beneath
you and some goats
me.
would be really fine. Get you a goat
Goats?
farm.
Yeah. I'm just
Really
thinking
warm.
if you've been struggling in the city, see my grandpa always said, like, sometimes if you're hitting your head over and over against the fence, you better just stop, because
Yeah,
it
that's
ain't
fine.
it ain't working. Sometimes you need to switch tools and try something else.
That's some solid advice right there.
At this point, the figure stands up and takes
That's just some good fire.
the 3 steps down to be on the same level as you guys. And you can see Bulford from this distance. You're not totally sure, but it is at least as tall as you are, if not just a little bit taller. But like long, almost like distended limbs, and like very, very thin, and doesn't look healthy in any capacity.
You like lean down to whisper to the group and be like, I saw a movie like this once. It had a clown in it. He was a horrible dancer, and that's what this guy kind of reminds me of.
Yeah.
I think is something about like
Yeah.
a nickel. I think was in his name or something strange. I don't know.
Oh,
You gotta figure out how some of my rule here. Is like, is it a divine right or is it like a regard? How he claiming rule?
I don't know. I think he lived in like the sewer or something.
I don't know.
It was a really strange movie. I don't know. My kids really like the horror stuff. It's not for me.
Yeah.
I think the clown's name was like Nickelback or something.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, all right then.
Anyway, so this eldritch horror thing.
Yeah. As you guys whisper back and forth to each other, the voice comes across to you again. It says, I will give you this one chance to turn and leave. You have the option to go back to whatever sad farm life you're talking about and live out your days there. Or you could meet your end here, as many others who have attempted to defend the city have. The choice is yours.
Now, I'm going to tell you this right here, right now.
Mhm.
I got 2 beautiful ladies to go back home to. I ain't meeting no end nowhere. Besides that, best you end here with us than to meet my wife. She's a terrifying force.
Yeah, I
Alright.
know you did not just insult our farms.
I've been over some burn all day.
What? So we either leave or what's
Kick
the
your
other
ass.
option? Kick your ass?
Well, you can
Oh,
try,
that on.
but there's a...
Are you saying you don't have an ass?
No,
Sure,
I'm
give us a
saying that
little
you'd have
spin.
to get to me first. And he goes ahead and he takes another 2 steps back and just fades from existence.
Well, now that's just the coward's
That's
way
not
out.
fair.
Yeah,
You
that
just
ain't fair.
supposed to fight, you have a beer afterwards. It'd be fine. You know what?
Everybody go ahead and make a perception
like
check real
him.
quick.
Hey,
15.
22.
Math is hard. Only 14.
Okay, Charles,
Hmm?
you guys aren't sure where he went. However, you hear a faint groaning, creaking sound, like metal rubbing against metal. And as you go, I wonder what that is. A pair of large red eyes illuminate on the opposite side of the room, and like right down near the ground where you guys are, and they sweep up and around to about 15-20 feet off the ground, and then begin to push forward towards you. And emerging from the shadow at the back of the room, just out of sight of you guys, is this large metallic head attached to a long metallic neck. And as it takes a couple of steps towards you, you can see emerging from this shadow this massive metal-plated dragon taking steps towards you on the inside of this temple. And you hear a now familiar voice echo through the chamber once again. What I mean is you'll have to deal with my friend here first.
Does he have a name?
In response to that, you just get a loud emanating from the front of this giant draconic figure's face.
Damn, I don't speak Draconic.
Oh, wait, I do.
It is not in draconic.
Oh,
It is.
Roar.
It is just this guttural roar as you look at this like piecemeal constructed dragon sitting in front of you. What do you guys want to do?
How far away is it?
It is now closed to about 50 feet away from you. It's right behind the altar and throne. Essentially what I'm asking, is there anything you guys want to get in real quick before I tell you to roll initiative?
yeah. We don't see where Ronald McDonald went, do we? I mean, Donald McRonald.
You do not see where this individual went, no.
Okay.
Nickelback the Gingy clown.
Yeah. Let me see here real quick. I want to wild shape real quick, but
Okay.
while I'm in my wild shape form, can I use a bonus action to activate that ability that like gives me flame? Okay.
I'd say yeah.
Okay. Let me see here.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll let you guys each get one thing off before we jump into this.
there's not really much I could do besides just going horns first at it at the speed of 90 feet, 6 seconds
Fair
for
enough.
one attack. So I
Fair
will. I'll hold off.
Okay.
I'll just prepare myself.
I am going to cast Fairy Fire on the dragon.
Interesting. Okay. Sounds good. What save is that? Is it a dex?
It's a dex.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that's a big 3 right there.
Hell yeah. So it is now outlined in green fire.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the color of my fire last time, but I don't remember.
I mean, it's up to you. It's like glitter bomb.
I'm just trying to stay consistent. So yes, so any attack roll against it has advantage, as long as you can see it.
Sounds good, and that
And
would.
it can't turn invisible.
Yeah,
if
that
that was
overcomes
something the
invisibility.
dragon was about to do.
So you guys will have advantage on attacks. Charles, what do you want to wild shape into?
I think I'm gonna go for the giant constrictor snake.
Okay. Charles reverts to his snaky form, and Bulford, if you're just getting ready, we'll say you take the dodge action.
Yeah, if it's gonna, I'll do. Yeah, I'll spend a key point for patient defense just in case something happens.
You can just take
just
the dodge
wait.
action. You
Oh,
don't
yeah, I can't do that.
like if you're not using your action for something, you can just do dodge.
I'll do that.
Okay, sounds good. So
Still
Bulford
learning
goes
how to
ahead
monk.
and gets ready. Melis goes ahead and just throws a glitter bomb over the top of this thing, and Charles becomes a snake. Now, go ahead and roll initiative, everybody.
Ooh.
Ooh,
22.
22.
Do I use the snake stats or my stats for initiative?
I'll say you can pick whichever one's higher because I don't remember which one you're supposed to do right now. I think technically yours, but it doesn't really matter.
I got 16.
I roll 22, which is the highest I can roll.
You said 22?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so as we get into it, Melis goes ahead and sets off this explosion of glitter and like smoke over the top of it, essentially, and this green, almost like glowing film clings to the outside of it. Charles, you drop into your snake form, and Charles and Melis, you guys are up at the same time. Who wants to go first?
You can go.
Okay. As a bonus action, I want to activate that one thing as part of the utensil flavor that I have.
Okay.
Deals fire damage. Let me get it pulled up.
Yes. Sounds good. So Charles goes ahead and you guys watch as I believe, Charles, you are. Let me make sure I get this right. Not that one. That's
Deal an additional 1d8 fire damage with your attack, and any hostile creature that starts within 10 feet takes 1d6 fire damage.
Yeah, so you guys watch as Charles' snake form just sort of like begins to have these little flames sort of lick up around the sides of him. Not enough to hurt you in this moment, but it is a little disconcerting to see as suddenly Charles is a flaming snake. So that's your bonus action. What do you want to do for your action, Charles? If he's still there.
I'm gonna go up and try and constrict this thing.
Okay,
Yeah,
sounds
I'm
good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good. So you're gonna go ahead and try to constrict it.
Yeah, is it within 30 feet? Because that's what I have for movement.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it was coming towards you guys. It's all. You would have come more than no feet into the temple. You guys are close enough. This
Okay.
room is specifically 80 by 80 so that you guys can like operate pretty well within it, so we don't have to think about movement quite as much.
Okay.
Unless you're specifically staying way on the outside.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll your constrict attack.
And it's with advantage because of fairy fire, right?
That is correct. Yep.
That's 7. And let's see if the 7 hits. because the second one was a nat 1.
7. It's 7 total.
No, 7 plus 6, so 13 probably doesn't hit, right?
13. Well, you hit it in the sense that you come up to it and you go ahead and you begin to wrap around, but you went ahead and you wrapped one of its front legs and tried to squeeze into it, and the metal plates it started to dig into you more than into it necessarily with the area that you decided to grab, and so you can't quite actually like squeeze down and crunch anything, so you let go of it and begin to sort of like recollect yourself right on the outside of it.
Okay. Well, in that case, that was my attack, abuse action, and bonus action, so can't really do anything else, but it will take that damage when it starts its turn. It'll take
what is it, a D6
1d6
fire damage? All right.
Yeah, do you want me to roll it now or later?
We'll roll it when we get to it in just a second here. Okay. So that ends Charles' turn. Melis, you're up.
Okay, so I'm just gonna run at it and hit it with my maul.
Great, sounds good.
So
You have advantage.
I have advantage, thank God. That is 26 to hit.
26 definitely hits. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Ooh, okay, that is so 15 points of damage, and then my chickens explode forth and do an additional 4 points of damage.
Okay, so 19 points of damage total as you run up to it, and you pull your maul and bring it around as hard as you can into the side of it. As you impact it, the green energy sort of flashes for a second and almost explodes out in little like glittery sparkles before those turn into your chickens and go ahead and dive back into the end of the maul, slamming it a little bit further into its body.
We'll hit it again.
All right, sounds good.
Ooh, not so great. 14.
14. As you go ahead and bring it back up and around to swing into the other one, it actually just yanks its leg out of the way as you have run up and slammed into one of its front shins, pulling out of your way and causing you to sort of swing through and past a little bit. You collect yourself back up and reseat your feet, looking up into this massive, like, probably 25, 30 foot tall dragon, probably about 15 to 20 at the shoulder, but it's sort of like low and coming down towards you guys now. Any bonus action?
I think that's everything I can do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Fairy Fire is concentration, I believe?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Then Melis' turn is over, and we come to the dragon's turn. We are going to... it's going to take a step away from Charles to sort of situate itself in such a way that it can see all three of you guys, and it's going to come down and just let out this as it sprays this hot fryer oil out in a cone from its face towards you guys. I need everybody to make a dexterity saving throw.
Ooh.
Do I get a attack of opportunity, or is he still within my
You
range?
would get an attack of opportunity, and he takes that damage at the start of his turn.
Sorry, can I attempt to use the restrict, which has a grapple built into it, or is it just a bite?
Yeah, you can use whichever one you want.
Okay, I'm gonna try and grapple it here, if that'll fuck it up somehow. Do I still get advantage from Fairy Fire?
You would, yeah.
Okay. Okay, come on, don't fuck me. Okay, that's much better. Rolled a 2 and then a 19 naturally, so that's 25.
That does hit, so go ahead and roll your damage. Also roll that fire damage it takes at the top of its turn.
Okay, that is 1d6. That's 6. Okay. So then it takes from the actual attack 2d8 plus 4. D8 out here. Where the heck is my D8? Oh, I'm gone. That's a 1. That's a 5. 6 plus 4 bludgeoning damage, and if it can be, it's grapple.
All right. Oh, I need to do
Oh,
that.
and does it get dealt the extra fire damage from my extra attack?
It would, yeah.
Okay. Then on top of that, that is 4 fire damage.
All right. That is grand total another 19 on that attack and the start of its turn. As Charles, it begins to pull away from you. You wrap up around its leg again, finding away from those plates with the jagged edges that you had been on before. And you bind this leg up so it can't really move all that well. And so, Charles, I would say that you don't need to make the save because you are on top of it now instead of out in the field somewhere.
Sorry, guys.
Melis and Bulford, you guys are still out in this cone. So go ahead and make those saving throws if you haven't already, and let me know what you got.
It's a 16.
16 and what?
18.
All right, so you guys both... Where did I just put all of those? There we go. You both succeed, which means you'll take half damage on this. That is going to be not great. 20 points of fire damage halved to 10 points of fire damage to each of you.
Okay.
As this fry oil just sprays from its mouth and just coats the area around you in like this sizzling grease almost. Not like grease spell grease, but like is greasy. And that is going to be the end of its turn because it doesn't have the ability to move right now. So
It's restrained too.
yes.
Cool.
That brings us to Bulford's turn.
Hello, it's me. I'm Bulford. How far away is it?
Close enough for you to get to. Probably 30-ish feet away from you.
Okay, I was debating about doing the Goring Rush, but I don't know if that would be the best choice. So I'm just gonna haul ass towards it.
Okay.
I'm just gonna start a wailing.
Sounds good. Go ahead and make a couple attacks.
Are they still at advantage?
All of them are advantage until... actually, Melis, go ahead and make a Constitution or a Concentration check for me. It's a Constitution saving throw.
Great. Thank you. I don't cast enough for this. 15.
Yep, still at advantage.
Great.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna take 2 regular attacks, and then I'll spend a key point for my bonus action to take 2 more.
Sounds good.
Just gonna start hammering home. Let's do this, baby.
Wolver comes charging up and just starts wailing on this thing. That is a concerning face.
That is natural 20
Okay.
for the first one. Would
Sounds
you like me
good.
to roll all of these first?
You can roll all of them and then just throw a fistful of dice if you want.
And that's gonna be 19.
Also hits.
Oh, that's not as nice. I don't like that. 15.
15 does not pierce the armor, so you come up and you slam, and on your third one, you go ahead and you hit again, and you sort of skate off the side of the armor, the dent that you left, causing this weird like ripple in the metal plate.
And that'll be another natural 20.
Of course it will.
Amazing.
So you go ahead and you skate off of that one, you spin around, and you slam the fist, your opposite fist, just straight into that same crater. Go ahead and roll all your damage here. That's
Okay.
3 attacks, 2 of which are critical hits.
That's wonderful.
So for the normal one, because it's going to be a little bit easier math,
Mhm.
it's just going to be 7.
Okay.
And then 13, 15, so 28 plus 7, all of that.
35.
28 plus 7, 35.
Yep.
All right. Now I have to do math. Hang on. Here you go. Bulford, you come sprinting up to it, and you think about going for one of the legs like one of your friends, but instead you decide to run sort of directly underneath it. And as you go by, you just sort of crack up. You skate off with that last one, And you go ahead and you bring both of your hands just straight back up into the 2 dents you've already made, slamming up into it. Your fists actually puncturing through the metal a little bit. As you pull back out, you can feel some of the fur on the back of your hands just like get shaved off a little bit from the ragged edges of the metal. And this loud comes from it as it sort of recoils a little bit. Can't move too far, but
actually, can I keep at least one fist in there, kind of grip?
Sure, sounds good. As it rears back a little bit, you are picked up just a couple feet off the ground before it slams back down onto all fours. End of your turn?
Yep.
All right, next up, Melis and Charles. Who wants to go?
Charles, keep it going.
Okay. Yeah, we're just gonna keep grappling this baby. But first, I'll go ahead and just to keep us topped off, I'll extend my second wild shape here to use my feature to heal us a little bit.
Okay.
It's only 1d8, so.
It should be 1d8 plus your wisdom modifier.
Right. Sorry. Okay, that's 5 plus 5, so everybody gets 10 hit points back.
So you guys watch as the faint flames that are licking off of him are actually coming out of the like pattern in his scales that also look like fire. And Charles, you watch as Charles's scales in that same pattern flash for a second, and a blast of this warm golden sort of glowing light washes over you guys, and you regain 10 hit points.
Back up to 69, baby.
Nice.
I think that heals me too, actually.
It does.
Oh wait, I'm in snake form, so that doesn't matter. But if it goes over your HP, it's temporary hit points.
That is correct. So you have 10 temporary hit points.
Wonderful.
One of these days.
Okay, and I guess I'm just going to keep restricting or constricting it if possible, which I would get advantage on that still, right?
You would, yeah.
That's 10. It's 11 plus 6, 17.
17 does hit, so go ahead and roll damage as you go ahead and you tighten your grip on this thing, and you all can hear the sound of the metal plates just as it creaks inward and begins to snap down onto it. What you got, Charles?
Okay, so for the actual attack, that's 7 plus 4, I believe, so 11, and then it also takes an additional 1d8 fire damage.
Okay.
3 fire damage on top of that.
Sounds good. As you go ahead and sear into this metal with the flames that are licking around you, you can feel the metal heating up. It doesn't seem like the heat is affecting it quite as much as it feels like it normally would to a different creature because of its like constructed form. But you can see that the heat is actually helping to weaken the metal where you are to let you sort of crush in more and more. So it's not that it's not doing something for you. It is just it's not quite damaging it as much, but you hear the metal like creaking and almost starting to scream and split against your body as you wrap down and cinch down onto it. End of your turn?
Yep.
All right, Melis, you are up.
All right, I'm gonna hit it with my maul.
Hit with your maul.
Okay, that is a 22 to hit.
That does in fact hit.
Okay, so 12 points of damage, and then my swarm will again kind of shoot out back into it from the sparkles of the fairy
Sounds
fire.
good.
For an additional 2.
For an additional 2, so 14 total.
14 total, and then I'll hit it again.
Go for it.
Okay, 22 to hit.
That also hits.
Okay, that is 8 plus 4. Is 12 points of damage.
Okay.
And then an additional 3 from my swarm.
Okay, sounds good.
Oh, wait, let me double check.
Oh, is it only once per turn?
I think it's just once per turn. I just
Okay.
not used to hitting multiple times successfully.
No, it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, once on each of your turns.
Yeah, once on each of my turns. Okay,
Okay.
cool. So just
It's the 12 then.
just the 12.
Just 12 more. Okay.
Just 12. And can I use my movement to kind of like edge around the back of it
Sure.
while still staying within its melee range?
Yep, sounds good. So you go ahead and you take your maul back. and you crack twice more into the side of this leg that you had been working on, and it sort of like begins to creak and bend at this odd angle. So it's, instead of going straight forward, it's now sort of got this weird bow in it. As you begin to almost punch a hole through the metal plates with the end of your maul, and then you go ahead and you run backwards around the end of it, back towards the tail. Taking a look at this thing, you can see that it is well put together in the sense that it seems pretty solid, but there are a bunch of like weird overlaps in the plates, and it is definitely more of a like pile-on construction sort of thing instead of a smooth, well done, finished piece. It looks like. So, end of your turn.
Yes.
All right, that brings us back to our good dragon friend here. It is going to...
Takes 4 fire.
It takes 4 points of fire damage. As Charles' snake form just sears into it a little bit more. And it is going to... let me see. What is the... What do we need to do to get out of here?
The grapple?
Yeah, I just want to be able to move, okay?
Yeah, it's escape DC 16.
Yeah, usually it's an action to escape. It doesn't say it on there, but that's what we'll go with. So it is going to go ahead and make either an athletics or an acrobatics check to try and get out of this thing. Well, that is a natural 20, which means that it's out of it, but it means that you guys don't take damage from that, which is annoying. But it is going to... It shakes its leg out, and Charles, you slip off of it back down onto the ground in snake form. And it will then go ahead and... Let's see. It'll go ahead and it'll kick up with its wings, so just these massive metal wings that have sort of been attached to its back, sort of like fan up and out, and it will go ahead and not attack everyone with its wings, but go ahead and slam them down a couple of times to lift itself up the ground. I need Charles and Melis to actually make dexterity saving throws.
Woo. Ooh,
Charles as a snake.
Natural 20, so 26.
Okay.
That is a 17.
17. Okay. So you guys are both pushed backwards away from it, but you are not thrown away from it and knocked prone, and taking damage in doing so. So it pushes you guys back a little ways as it goes ahead and lifts up just a little bit to about 30 feet off the ground. Bulford, go ahead and make an athletics check for me just to make sure here.
I mean, if I fall, I don't take any damage anyway.
I mean, yeah. It's more to see if you can keep your fist like held in there.
Fair enough. You said athletics?
Yeah.
21.
Bulford, you're going for a ride if you want to.
It's just the
As you
poster
are.
of like the kitten on the brand. Just
Yep.
Bulford and a
Pretty much.
dragon.
Wolford is right hand up in the stomach of this thing, looking down at you guys now from about 25 feet off the ground.
Do
Hi.
I get... Hi, Bulford. You look good up there.
Thank you.
Do I get
It's
an
mighty
attack
tall.
opportunity for it leaving?
You guys wouldn't because you were knocked
You were
backwards
not. Okay.
from the wings. So it is now up in the air. It used its action to get out of the grapple from the snake, so that's the end of its turn. But it is about 25 feet off the ground. Bulford, you're up.
I am up about 30-something
In a
feet
couple different ways. You are about 25 feet off the ground. It is about 30 feet off the ground.
All right.
You are hanging
on. You said it's kind of pieced together with like overlapping pieces of metal. I'm gonna start climbing.
All right.
What do I do?
Go ahead and make either an acrobatics or athletics check. You could convince me either way pretty easily, so it's up to you.
Well, I'm just gonna muscle my way up with athletics because for whatever reason, my athletics is better than acrobatics.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good, Mr. Monk Man.
So the athletics is gonna be a 22.
22. You go ahead and you very carefully take your left hand and you dig your fingers in behind one of the panels that are up there, and then pull your right hand out, and you begin to just climb your way up around the top of this dragon. Ultimately, let's see, you can move
45 feet.
Half speed at climbing. Yeah, it's not 20 feet all the way around it. You can make it up to the top if you want to.
I do just that.
Okay.
So
you're standing on the back of this thing as it's going right now.
So then would it be, sir? So is that was that my action?
That was your movement.
Oh my god, so I have a full action and bonus action?
You do, concerningly enough.
Yeah, I'm gonna attack these wings.
Okay.
We'll do two for one wing, 2 for the other, because I'm sure I can pop. Alright, give me a second to go back.
That's heavy.
They're just regular attacks?
I'm sorry if you guys can hear that. There's a mailman.
Oh. I was like, the Q's right here. I don't hear him barking, but yeah.
I said, are these regular or advantage?
They're still advantage. Everything is still at advantage because of fairy fire.
Yeah.
Fairy fire is a good spell to have.
Excuse me, sir. I'm trying to save a city.
I'm trying to dungeon and or dragon here.
Sir. That was 17 for the first one.
Hits.
Oh, fuck yeah. Mac, I love you, bub. You're gonna have to chill out. Unnatural 20.
Also
for
hits.
that one. I swear to God.
Let me help.
I desire to help.
That's gonna be 24.
Hits.
And then the last one. God. Is another unnatural 20.
All 4 of those hit as you go ahead and bounce back and forth between the 2 wings.
I'm gonna do
Nice.
one of them's gonna get a good kick, and then 3 punches.
Okay, sounds good.
So that's gonna be 5, 12, 18, 19, 20, 21. Plus 5 is 26, 27, 28, 29. And that was 3, or did I finish that?
You hit 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many you rolled.
I think I rolled all of them, so 29
Okay.
points.
Sounds good.
Math is hard.
Math is very hard.
I'm successful regardless, as if my math is off.
As you go ahead and you punch the one, jump back to the other 2, punch, and then just jump around and kick down into the joint of the last one back on the opposite side. You hear this thing, once again, just kind of as you're interrupting its ability to, like, stay aloft right now. Actually, okay, yeah, that's a lot. That's 27. So you don't knock it out of the air, but it was not happy with you for that one. So that brings us to the end of the Bullford's turn. Over to Melis and Charles.
Charles, you go first.
Okay. So, would I still be able to hit it if it's that high up in the ground?
Okay. I don't.
I want to try and constrict it again. Oh, sorry.
It's 30 feet off the ground. I don't think that you can quite get up there
I tried to bring it down. It
as a
didn't work.
snake. Yeah, no.
Taking this thing out of the sky.
You've got a reach of 5 feet as a snake, 10 feet if you're. So no,
Here's a cat. As forgiveness.
yes, cat.
Cat has
That
a
is-
message.
Cat will now watch over and stare disapprovingly. So Gingy, no, the thing is out of your range for bite or constrict.
Dang.
About 25 or 30 feet off the ground. Bulford is now higher than that. So
Okay. I don't suppose there's a way I can, like, coil up my body like a spring and try to jump at it.
This is also the coolest Bulford has ever felt in his entire life. He cannot wait to tell his kids.
just like punching on top of dragon.
He's riding a metal dragon. It's the coolest thing.
Yeah.
I will say that you could get. Yeah, I'd say you could if you roll really well on an athletics check.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, that's a natural 15. I don't know what a snake has in athletic.
It's just whatever its strength is. If it doesn't have a.
That's 19.
19. You go ahead and you coil yourself up, and you jump. Probably double what your normal jump height is, up to about 15 feet, but it's still just out of your range to get to it.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
25 feet's a long way to jump.
Yeah, no,
Straight
absolutely.
up in the air. It's like pole
It's
vault
about,
height.
yeah, that's about, and then after that, it's about 30 or about 10 feet away from me.
Yeah, you would have jumped 15, so it'd be 15 feet more away from you at that point.
Okay. Yeah, I don't suppose there's really anything I can do then. I'll just kind of stay under it for now.
Okay. You can hold something if you want to, or you can dodge or
Oh.
do something like that.
Yeah, I'll hold an action for if it gets knocked down, I want to constrict its legs.
Sounds good. So you hold a constrict. Sounds good. End of Charles' turn. Melis, you're up.
Okay, I will put away my maul and pull out my longbow to
Okay.
shoot at it.
Sounds good. At advantage.
Okay, that's not great. That's a 12. So I'll
Well,
try to shoot again.
first one you shoot up slams into the side of it and splinters off across the metal plates.
Look out, Bulford!
Oh, okay.
You see multiple fly past you, Bulford.
That's only a 15.
15. The second one, you go ahead and you fire back up at it again, and you're now aiming for the hole in its stomach where Bulford had punched up, and you slam right into the side of the hole, and the arrow shatters on impact as well.
Yep, that's what I got. That's
You took
it.
both those at advantage, right?
I did.
Okay.
Roll
Just want to make sure.
Oof.
Yep.
Okay. Any bonus for you?
Nope, that's it.
Sounds good. Then the end of Melis's turn comes our good friend, the dragon. It is going to, first off, try and like corkscrew and turn itself over. So Bulford, go ahead and make a dex save for me.
Oof. As I fall, can I try to grab one of the wings?
That's what this is.
Hell yeah. All right. What is
See if
my...
you stay on or not?
All right, deck save, deck
And then it's
save.
just
Come
you toss it
on.
in the back.
Come on, BB. Now is the natural one.
Woohoo!
As
No.
Bulford- As it goes ahead and twists itself in the air, Bulford, you are tossed off the back of it, grabbing at the wing as you go, no, and you fall gracefully and gently to the ground, as monks do. You land on your feet and stumble a little bit, but you're still on your feet as you are back down, looking up at it now. It's going to turn its face towards you guys. It's a 5. And this time, it goes ahead and lets out a blast of freezing cold air as it uses its deep freeze breath this time instead. I need you guys to go ahead and make Constitution saving throws instead.
Okay.
17.
13.
19.
Okay. The 17 and the 19 save, which means that you guys are taking. If you, Melis, you had a 13.
Yep.
Okay, you take 28 points of cold damage,
Cool.
Ooh.
and the other two of you take 14 points of cold damage.
How much health does this thing have?
And it is going to begin to pull away and back off to the side, back towards where it came from a little bit, staying up in the air. You guys see now as it's flying, its joints are moving in this really weird way. Like the wings are kind of jerky. Its legs every once in a while will like twitch and spasm out from all of the different impacts you guys have put onto it. It looks like it has taken some pretty serious hits, as you can see it like move around, but it is still currently alive. So that brings us to the end of its turn. Bulford, you are now up.
All right. So you said it's an open room.
Pretty open, yeah. Everything that was in here has mostly been smashed or tossed to the side.
Okay.
There are like
you-
chairs and tables and benches that have been flipped over and tossed around, but
right.
a lot of it has been shattered down.
And you said it kind of backed up towards where the throne is a little bit.
Backed
where
up
it came
towards where
from?
it came from. You guys are right sort of around the throne and altar area.
Okay.
It didn't go like crazy far away. It just sort of backed up about 15 feet in that direction.
Okay. All right. So I need me a handhold to get back up there. So I'm gonna take my pitchfork
Mhm.
and I'm gonna haul it up and at the stomach, kind of where
Sure.
my already previous done damage is, so I can see if I can puncture it up there.
Sounds
And
good.
The goal is to give a little extra so I can jump up, grab that, and start my climb again.
That's what I thought the goal was, but
Yep.
okay.
And then I'm guessing advantage is gone at this point with all that damage.
Melis, go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, yes.
Gotta beat a 14.
Oh, no, that is a 7. So,
Yeah,
very
Then Fairy Fire has faded as the green light sort of peters out as it flaps back away.
That is an 18.
18
For
does
my-
hit.
All right, and then I don't think a two-handed throw is going to work very well for a pitchfork, so it's just probably one-handed.
Yeah, go ahead and
As
roll
somebody
your
who
damage.
throws stuff for a living, I
You would hope at least.
you know, I've tried to throw a pitchfork. Let me tell you, that's hard. It
Oh,
don't
either.
stick well. So that's 6 points of pitchfork damage.
6 points of pitchfork damage. Nice. As you watch the head of the pitchfork disappear up into that same hole, sort of like shearing around to the outside of it, breaking through a little bit more. And then it's just got this thing sticking out of its stomach now. Probably a good 3 or 4 feet of it.
Okay. I don't think I can jump. Would not take the action because I used my action to attack already.
You can give a jump a shot
Okay.
if you want to.
Yes. I would like to. What do I? How? What's the roll? for that?
Athletics.
Okay.
Again, roll high.
18.
18. You go take a few running steps and jump and grab for it, and you're short of it as you jump and grab, and you once again very gracefully come back down to your feet. As this thing is, it came down a touch to about 25 feet over the ground, but it is still up in the air away from you right now.
All right. That's it. That's what I got.
All right, sounds good. End of Bulford's turn. We come back to Melis and Charles.
Charles?
I'm thinking about that. If I switch out of my wild shape, I'll probably be able to do more. But like, if I do that, then my wild shape are gone for the day.
You should
I'd hold off.
You should have 3 total, 1 extra from your.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Thank you, Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make
In
sure
that
you know what
case,
your stuff does.
yeah. Thank you. I guess I'll go ahead and switch back to the Charles form,
Okay.
and then I'm going to use my action to cast a spell. I'm going to cast. I'm going to cast Tidal Wave.
Tidal Wave.
At third level.
All right. Is that?
I'm gonna.
Does that have to be centered on the ground? Is my only question.
It says you conjure up a wave of water that crashes down on an area within range. The area can be up to 30 feet long and up to 10 feet wide and up to 10 feet tall.
Yep, and nowhere in there does it say it has to be on the ground, so you can go ahead and just make water pour from the sky on it if you want to.
Yeah, and I'm gonna try and knock it down with that. It has to make a dex saving throw.
It sure does. Spoiler alert, its dexterity is its, I believe, second lowest stat.
Nice.
Oh no, it's tied for its second lowest stat. That's a big 7. Big 7 right there.
Okay, so
it's going to take... You said at 4th level? Or third
level, sorry. Yeah, I'm taking my 4th level spell slot. It takes 48
bludgeoning damage.
Yep.
And is knocked prone.
5,
nice.
8, 13, 19, 22.
22 points of damage as this thing is... Charles, I don't know if you guys have been to one of those big water parks before with like the giant bucket that fills up and pours out. You've seen that. Essentially, there's just like this rift that opens up and just a massive amount of water, just gallons and gallons, crash down onto this thing, hitting its back. And as it does, it goes and it slams it down into the ground from where it was, taking some falling damage too.
And drain the swamp on that.
4 points of falling damage. That's a 1, and a 2. And it is slammed down flat on its stomach into the ground. Taking a look really quick, Bulford, you can now see there are 3 little prongs sticking out of its back as it went straight down onto your pitchfork and it went up and through.
That's some good craftsmanship right there.
Yep. It is currently, technically, prone. Charles, that's your action. This thing looks bad.
Okay.
To say the least. It looks not good at all. Anything else you want to do with Charles?
Well, I assume I had to use my bonus action to turn out a wild shape.
That sounds right, actually. I don't know for sure, but that sounds right. Yes.
I think I'm done.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, okay, so end of Charles' turn. Melis, you're up.
Okay, I'm gonna pull up my maul again and run up to it and hit it. And I get an advantage since it's prone, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, double 15, so 21.
21 does hit.
Okay. Yes. Oh, can I also have cast Hunter's Mark?
Sure. So you cast Hunter's Mark.
Great. Yeah. Okay, so that is 4, so 10 points of damage, and then my swarm this time just bursting out as a fluttery flock of spectral chickens will do an additional 2 points of damage.
Okay.
And then I'll hit it again.
Good. Yep, so you run up and you bring your maul down on the side of its neck, slamming down into it. Chickens, again, sort of exploding out in like this little feathery, turning back into spectral chickens and jamming itself back down into it. Go ahead and roll your second attack.
Okay, that's another 21 to hit.
Does hit.
This time. Okay, so 9 points of damage plus an additional 3 from Hunter's Mark.
Okay. So that's 12 more total. As you go ahead and you bring up the maul again, you slam down, and this time you cleave through the area of the neck that you are working on, sort of out the side of it. So there is a section of the side of its neck missing, and you quickly take a couple of steps back as this spray of hot fry oil sort of spurts out of the side of it, and it begins to like leak onto the ground as this thing still just rumbling and now beginning to sort of like push itself backwards as best as it can away from you. That is the end of your turn.
Yes.
Yeah, this thing is not looking good. As it's going to stand up to start and begin to like look around to see where it is. It's going to swing its head back around to where it came from and look back at the wall that's in the dark there before swinging back around to you guys. And it doesn't recharge its breaths, which means that it is instead going to... Well, let's see. Oh, it's dumb. Okay. That's a 2 intelligence check to see what it was going to do. So, it is instead of doing something smart, it is just going to unload instead on Melis.
Cool.
That is going to be a claw attack and a tail attack. So the claw is going to be a 18 to hit.
Yep.
And the tail is going to be a 22 to hit. So that's
Yep.
going to be... From the claw, it's going to be 9 points of slashing damage. And from the tail, it is going to be 12 points of bludgeoning damage.
What was the first one? 9?
A total of 21. As it goes ahead and claws down into you and whips around and slaps you with its tail. And then it is going to... Yeah, it's not looking at you anymore. It's going to go ahead and try and kick itself up again and fly back the direction that it came from originally, which means that you would get an attack of opportunity on it.
Okay. 21.
21. Go ahead and roll up some damage.
Ooh, okay. That is 16 points of damage.
16 points of damage. Go ahead and paint me a picture. What do you want to do here?
Okay, so
it has...
It hits me and I stumble back, like, not looking great. I'll make one last desperate swing with my maul. And I want to kind of... So the maul hits it, and it kind of, as it's flying, it kind of hits into the wall where the pitchfork is. And so it kind of just, like, goes and kind of crumples in 2 different directions from my maul, the force of my maul and the force of the pitchfork.
Sounds good.
Against the wall.
So you, as it strikes into you with the claw and whips around with the tail and sort of like slaps you across the chest, you go ahead and stumble back, and it takes off, and you swing up in like one last sort of attempt to get at it, and actually the maul slips out of your hand, and it goes and it slams up into it, sending this dragon, which is way off balance, can't really tell where it is anymore. You severed something in its neck when you crashed through it, sends it spinning up and back and slamming into that back wall before it crumples to the ground in a heap of metal. And as you sort of like stop and look at it, you can see that the place where you actually ended up impacting was one that you had weakened earlier, and your maul is just like head plus most of the handle inside of it has just ruined whatever mechanism was keeping it together in the back here, as it lets out a final sort of like as it just sort of like fades out. Everything is quiet for a second.
Real quick, I'm gonna run it to Melis and cast Cure Wounds at my last 3rd level spell slot.
Okay.
I'm gonna walk over and get our weapons.
Okay. So
Out
you
of
guys
it.
go ahead and begin to collect things. And
22 hit points.
Ooh, thank you.
as you guys are collecting weapons, healing up Melis, you hear the now ever-present, now familiar, just sort of sound from back by the door. And as you turn to look, you see this swarm beginning to push its way into the temple that you guys are in. Just dozens and dozens of drones have blown the doors backwards off this thing and are beginning to fill the space opposite you. Melis, you would hear with your passive perception just a faint click sound behind you from near where the dragon is, and glancing over your shoulder, you see the faint outline of a light coming through a door that you didn't see earlier. It just sort of has like opened from the wall itself.
Okay. I'll point it out to the others.
If we're going there on the way out, I would like to cast heat metal on the throne to try and destroy it.
Okay, you taking a look at it, you would think that it would require you to like sit there and do it for a little while instead of just like get rid of it. It's sort of like shoddily put together like a lot of other things happen, but it's not. It's still sort of a mountain of metal. So it would take a little while and probably a little bit of force to actually get that done.
Okay. Well, never mind now.
How are y'all doing in terms of feeling okay?
Oh, good, great.
I lost this flannel, but I'm sure I got one more in there. My wife's pretty good about that kind of stuff. Actually, as we run, I'm assuming we're going towards the door.
Yeah, let's go towards the door.
Okay. As we like kind of run past it, I do have both the pitchfork and the maul because I went to go get them.
Yes.
Can I just take like a half-ass swing at the throne with the maul, just to like see if I can knock something off of it?
Sure. Yeah.
I'm not proficient in it, so it's just like a random ass like strength-based attack.
It's just a strength check. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. It's +3. It's not too bad. That's a 22.
Amazing.
Go ahead. What's small damage? 2d6
2d6
plus strength.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and roll 2d6 plus strength. It's gonna be like 15 points of damage.
No, it's the first roll was a 6 plus 1, and then my strength is +3, so just 10.
10 points of damage. As you guys start booking it towards the opposite end of the room, you go ahead and just sort of like reach out and slam down with the maul as you run past it. This thing is heavier than what you're used to like swinging around by a long stretch, but it's not so unwieldy based on, your work out at the farm with moving stuff around that you can't like control it, but you just sort of like flick it out and slam it into the back of it, and the maul head gets stuck for a second as it punches a hole through it. You have to like wedge it out before following your two friends here, and you guys are just barreling towards the door.
As we run, I'm gonna put my hand on my own chest and cast a Cure Wounds.
Okay.
Just to top things
Is
back.
Bulford looking okay?
Oh, I'm pretty good.
Okay.
I've
So
taken a
as you
little bit of damage, but nothing I can't.
Just let's
So
say I
as you
can heal
guys-
while we have a moment.
I've got another cure. I can, yeah.
As you guys are
Okay.
sprinting towards the door, I'm assuming Bulford's in the front as the fastest.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys are barreling as fast as you can, beating feet towards the door. You hear from behind you now a loud roar, like a loud roar, like a low, just sort of, and Charles, this one you can understand. It's just someone yelling, "Bam!" And then there is the sound of just shearing rock as the front of the temple is ripped off by these massive emerald dragon claws as it throws the front of the temple down into the ravine. You take a glance back over your shoulder, and you see the massive dragon cutting through this wave of drones. As it sort of like enters the space, right behind it is this massive, bigger than you saw before, pseudo bear-like form that just comes stomping in, jumps up, grabs one of the drones in its mouth, and crushes it before spitting it at another one and knocking another one out of the air. And behind that, carrying this massive mace, is this large red-skinned figure with a ram's head attached to his own skull that's just swinging through and crashing through these drones. And then there is this faint sort of like glitter almost, and this screen appears between you and them, and the celestial winged unicorn, the alicorn, appears in the center of the room and looks down at you all and says, it says in your minds now, we'll take care of this. Go find the sorcerer. As this wave sort of washes over you guys, drones are like blasting themselves into this force field almost and can't make it through. And you guys are topped off on hit points from this wave that blasts through you. If you have spell slots, you can recover up to 7 levels of spells. In the very specific case where you have key points, you can recover half your level's worth of key points.
Nice.
Rounded down or rounded up?
Well, you guys would be going to level 8 as you run through this door into the next room. So it's
okay.
just 4.
I got them all back, baby.
So you guys run through this door and find yourselves, it slams shut behind you, find yourselves in a dark room, very quiet compared to the room you just left, and about 15 feet in front of you, it's more of a hallway than a room, there is a single spiral staircase that leads up.
Oh, did I regain any wild shape features?
Yes, you would get those back.
Okay.
It's like a pseudo short rest, really.
Well,
But yeah, I'm
I
gonna
guess
go
there's
ahead and
nowhere to go but up.
Yeah.
I guess I'm gonna ready in action to cast Blight if I see Donald McRonald.
Okay, sounds good. So you guys go ahead and you begin to work your way up the stairs. Go ahead and make stealth checks for me.
I'm also gonna hand off the mall. Melis, I think this is yours. This is a little unwieldy for me. It's a little top heavy.
Thanks. It's
You're welcome.
thing. That's an 18 for stealth.
Okay,
Also 18.
great.
Wolford.
Wolford looks sad.
My stealth is a lot better than I thought.
We should have took Pass Without a Trace.
That's all right. As you guys go ahead and begin to work your way up, you hear the voice from earlier sort of echoing down to you as you begin to work your way up. Just sort of whispering to you almost. It's loud and echoing down the chamber, but it feels like it's right in your ear, like very quietly to each of you individually. It says, I suppose I'll have to deal with you myself. Please join me, and we'll finish this properly.
I feel like that should have been the first step, but like it's fine. We're
You
already
gonna
past that
offer us
point.
any refreshment or anything? That seems like the polite thing to do.
There is no response other than another.
Somebody's parents didn't teach them, right?
Yeah, Grandpa's
Drawn
not
out.
gonna be happy when I tell him.
Drawn out sigh.
No hospitality whatsoever.
Everybody make a perception check for me.
19.
12.
14.
Okay. Charles, you in particular notice and can point out to your friends, there has been that faint, rhythmic, metallic clanging sound of the pistons way, way down in the ravine going off throughout the city for pretty much the entire time you've been here. And it's weird because you can't hear it from where you are, but you can kind of feel it, like in your feet as you're walking up. There's like the very faint vibration of it every time it comes up. And if you put your hand on the wall, you can sort of feel like these pulses going up through the wall as you guys are going. But as you continue to make your way up this spiral staircase, you walk for what seems like simply too far to be a spiral staircase. No one needs a spiral staircase that goes like 90 feet in the air. That's just silly.
Yeah, Charles
But-
is heavy breathing.
You guys make it to the top. Maybe a little out of breath, but not like hurting in any real way.
Bolvar kind of rubs his knees. It's a lot of up.
There's a lot of up. And you are met with a door, just a pretty simple, plain door, sitting in front of you. Average height, average size, just sort of seated in front of you in the wall.
Can I cast Detect Magic on the door?
Sure. You
Okay.
go ahead and cast Detect Magic. Let me make sure I know what you actually get for Detect Magic. Magic. There we go. Magic. You cast Detect Magic on the door, and or you cast Detect Magic on yourself, and you sense things around you. You can feel the presence of plenty of magical things around you. You guys have a couple of things on you that are deeply, powerfully magic. And actually, Charles, it's a good point. As you guys have come up, your different things that you've picked up have been glowing faintly. They've sort of been doing that since you got them. There's like a very faint glow. The Detect Magic sort of amplifies what you're noticing, and you realize that they are glowing brighter now than they were before. And if you take a second and actually think about it, you realize that they're actually warm, like have warmed up a little bit. But taking a look at the door itself, you notice that the door has a very, very faint not transmutation. That was going to be so wrong. Evocation energy around it. Which you don't necessarily know a whole lot about like the different types of magic, but you know that evocation is usually the one that includes blowing things up.
I'll back them away and say, hold on with it. And in that case, I will cast a second level spell slot to summon Beast.
Okay.
And
Concern.
And I'm going to have the Beast open the door.
What beast are you summoning?
You know what? We'll summon Land.
Okay, sounds good. You go ahead and you summon up a beast of the land. What animal do you want it to resemble?
A gator with sunglasses on.
Okay. You guys, there is a gator, a small gator, but a gator nonetheless. He's only about 4 feet tall, standing on his back legs. He's got a pair of sunglasses and a jauntily angled hat. And he looks at Charles and cocks his head a little bit before just sort of letting out a lowish sort of sound. And he goes ahead and he waddles his way on up to the door.
I would like to. I would have reached out to like give it some scritches or like hold up my hand and then scritch it. And then as I see, oh, it's wearing like a hat and sunglasses, that seems a little bit too anthropomorphic to just like pet it without consent. So I'll reach out my hand to shake its hand.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know that won't be good, but you get it done, I'll give you a big chicken. I'll get that.
Weirdly,
I cover Acorn's ears.
it looks at your hand and smells it for a second before turning and using its very small arm to like grasp your hand and give it a little shake. I rolled a 16 on an intelligence check, so
Hey.
It's smarter than most of us.
well,
It's smarter than all.
Yeah.
it's not. It's got an intelligence score of 4, so it was actually a
Oh.
19. But so it shakes your hand a little bit, and then gives all of you guys a little bit of a nod. Looks at Charles expectantly when he mentions chicken, and then waddles his way on over to the door. And
Yeah,
you just want to have him open it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have Mater the gator open the door.
Mater the gator goes ahead and grabs the door. How far away from the door are you guys? It's
Top
about.
of the stairs.
I was gonna say it's about
Yeah,
15
I'm
feet
gonna,
from top of stairs to door. So
I'm gonna get like 30 feet away if possible.
So Charles is gonna go back down the stairs a little bit.
I'll follow Charles, wherever wherever he goes.
Okay.
I'm gonna peek my head up so that way it's just like eyes, hat, horns.
Okay.
I want to
Sounds
watch.
good. It goes ahead and it waddles its way up to the door, grabs the door handle, and turns. And as soon as the click of the door happens, there is just this wave of energy. You're not entirely sure because on the one hand, this blast of heat hits you, and on the other hand, Mater the Gator begins to let's see. Let's roll some damage for Mater the Gator, I guess, actually. Mater the Gator has more hit points than I thought he did.
Yes, 30 hit points.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay.
Mater the Gator is still going to be standing after this because I rolled terribly.
Alice was going to cry so much.
Math is really hard. That is only 17 points of damage to our good friend Mater the Gator.
Our friend is alive.
Yeah. He's still got 13 hit points left.
I run up the stairs, and I'm going to cast Cure Wounds on him.
Okay, you come running up the stairs and cast Cure Wounds on this gator. As you get close to it, you see that while the air around you is hot, Mater the Gator has like ice crystals almost formed across his body. How much did you heal him for?
He takes back 11 points of
Oh my
11
God.
points. And I pat his head and I say, there, buddy, it's gonna be okay.
It lets out another one of those sort of like croaky sort of. Nope, that's the wrong sound. I don't know if I can do the sound I want to do.
Gator's actually hiss, I think.
Sure, but it's not mad at you. It's a friendly hiss, just like a happy little at you. They're more like a kind of hiss, I think. But so, what do you guys want to do? The door is now sitting just ajar, and Charles, you don't detect any more magic. I think detect magic might drop after you concentrate on another spell, but you don't sense anything else magical from that necessarily.
I guess I'll walk through because I would be right by the door.
I was gonna
Okay.
do a quick change into my last
I'll
flannel.
take Mater up and put him on.
I'll do it as we're walking in. It's fine.
Okay. As Bulford is, stripping and getting into the next one, you guys go ahead and push the door open and make your way in. The room up here is
Mater the Gator.
right. Charles has made a gator around his shoulders. The room in here is smaller than the one downstairs, which makes sense because it's sort of like a stepped pyramid kind of thing on the outside. And you see a 40 by 40 room that you walk into, about half the size of the one downstairs. And it looks like it should be a pretty low-key sort of living space. You see the remnants of, in spite of the fact that it's massive for a bedroom, it's the remnants of like a bed that has been sort of smashed, table and chairs that have been sort of flipped over here and there. You see a pile of twisted metal off in the corner, which you can catch a look at. There's paint on one side of it. They look like old like gas or like diner signs, that kind of thing, like just sort of steel signs that they would have had that have been sort of like thrown off into this corner. And as you look around, taking stock of where you are, you can see that all of the walls in here have been more of like the splash painted black. And you can see in a couple of spots poking through just like faint bits of color that haven't quite been covered up all the way. I was wondering what you were doing. That makes sense.
Gotta keep up with the bit.
Got
Done it for
it.
this long.
Commit
Gonna
to
ask
the
what
bit.
color it was, but yeah, great.
Yep, there it is.
Now we know.
You guys stop right inside of the door, looking around, taking in everything, and you can see another chair sitting in the center of the room. This one is like pitched back. It's more of like a couch with an inclined back to it almost, so that you can sort of like lay back on it. This one is made again of these sort of like patchwork metal things, and you can see all of these different conduit lines coming from the ceiling and the floor around it and feeding directly into this thing. Um, Sitting on this chair is the tall, lanky figure that you had seen before. It looks like almost reaching up out of the chair are more of these conduit lines, much smaller, and actually almost digging into the skin on the arms, the legs, the sides, up the sides of the neck, and into the edge of the face. As every time you guys feel that same pulse that Charles had felt outside, the body sort of like pulses a little bit against the chair that it's sitting in. And sitting behind that, against the far wall, you see this large, almost tank-looking thing. Tank like fish tank, not tank like military tank.
Gotcha.
Like large glass door, steel frame around it. This deep, deep blue color on the inside, with vague smoke sort of swirling inside of it. And I'd say Melis and Bulford, I believe it is. Are you the two with decent passives?
My passive is
Melis
17.
and Bulford, you guys can see through the glass of the tank, through like the frosted over bit of it, some kind of like figure sitting inside of it. But as you guys step into the room, the mouth on the figure that's sitting on the chair that you guys met downstairs opens and draws in a deep, sharp breath, just a welcome to my quarters, your final resting place. And he goes ahead and kicks himself up and begins to stand up off the chair. And as these things sort of like yank out of the sides of his body, coming disconnected from the skin, there's like little faint traces of red that come from it. And you see him sort of roll his neck, and he takes another deep breath in, and you watch as with this breath, he sort of starts to like grow and swell, his form like becoming this monstrous sort of like amalgamation of what he was before. You can still see everything that he was before. His hair, the red hair, sort of like growing and poofing out more, the blue streaks in it becoming more wild, actually almost forming into these points. The horns growing out of the back of his head, the smile ripping further up the sides of his face, the eyes almost sinking in more to create deeper sockets around it. And the suit that he was wearing beginning to tear in a couple of places as he sort of like snaps himself back forward, looking up at you guys and says, "This will be your end, and I will rule this city forever." And that is where we'll pick up next time.
Great.
Holy.
Can't wait.
Good times.
Oh, boy.
So thank you guys so much for watching. We are headed into what looks like the finale of this little adventure that we got going on here. So come back next time to see how this is all going to wrap up, because I am also interested to see. Yeah, I think that's about it. Anything you guys want to say?
Yep.
Yikes.
Yep, sounds good.
Yep.
Great.
All right.
Cool.
Bye, guys.
Bye.